Hi, my name is Alex. This is day 25 of the 30-day challenge where I'm learning to speak better English and build my camera confidence as well as my mind-mouth connection. Now I am struggling to think of a topic to talk about today, so I have GPT generate a topic for me. It is the best advice I ever got, and if I follow it, that is quite a hard topic to talk about because I have received so many advices over the past few years and they are all pretty useful. And I think I talk about a couple of them in my previous videos. Okay, from my phone screen, I actually have a couple of quotes that, I can always look at and refer to when I wake up. And one of them is be curious. I can't remember where that came from, but I think it was last year or the year before. I think it was during a time where I was on the dating apps a lot, trying to, learn to talk to girls, meet new people. And those two words, be curious, it is very important because I am someone who is not naturally good at talking to people, to strangers. So that two words, be curious, that means that I need to be curious about the other person, like what she does for a living, what places has she traveled to, what cuisines have she tried, what's her mind when it comes to relationships, to money, or to life in general. So be curious about the person and ask them questions, and also be curious about whatever she is talking about and ask follow-up questions. And I also think that applies to other areas of our lives. A lot of times, we can be curious about things that we are interested in, but outside the areas of our interests, we tend to be less curious about things. For example, we use our phones on a daily basis, but have you wondered what inside the phone actually looks like? What physically makes up a phone? Or for example, I was getting coffee the other day and came across this term called Spanish latte. In the past, I would probably just order a latte as I always do, but I got curious and I asked the barista what a Spanish latte is. And it turns out it is just like regular latte, but instead it uses condensed milk. If you ask me, I think, it tastes somewhat like regular latte, but a little bit more sweeter. It is sweeter. You may ask, like, what does that even do or add to my life if I know what a Spanish latte is? Well, not much, but it is that regular practices of getting curious about the everyday life, the small things, the small details of everyday life that adds up over time. Some knowledge that you gain, you will remember. Some knowledge that you gain, you will forget. And that is absolutely okay as long as you keep asking the question of what, how, and why. You are going to basically increase your knowledge base. You will get to know more about how this world works. You will be able to have better conversation with people. So like you are going grocery shopping and you are buying like food or whatever essentials, turn over the item and look at the packaging. Some items may need to use materials that matches international health and safety standards. And for example, right, I just recently came across this term called PFOA. It is basically like when you are trying to buy a frying pan, like you need to look for items that are PFOA free, so it doesn't contain the PFOA materials. Like I don't know, I can't remember what PFOA is, but because I saw it on the packaging of the frying pan and I did a Google search and I remember it saying that when I'm buying, I think, stainless steel frying pan, I need to look for materials that is PFOA free. Also, right, something that I recently learned is when you are trying to buy a phone, you need to look at its storage technology. In the past, I just look at, how much memory it has, or do I like the color, the exterior of the phone, and is the camera good? And the basics that is advertised on the basically the main website of the phone company. And I recently learned that there's actually a lot of difference between the storage technologies used. There's something that's called UFS. I think it stands for Universal Flash Storage. It basically means how fast the read and write speed of your storage is. When you are like switching apps and stuff, how fast the phone can operate. In the past, it was UFS 3.1, and the newest version is UFS 4. And there is a even more powerful version called Zoned UFS. So if a phone is using Zoned UFS and UFS 4.0, it means that it is using the latest technology and it is pretty fast in terms of read and write. But a lot of phones, the newer phones, can actually ship with old technology like UFS 3 or UFS 4, but without the zone UFS. It can actually affect your read and write, your file transfer speed, and things like when app switching. How does that help my life? Besides, when it comes to choosing phones, not much, except when, in conversation with other people, like definitely helps in the dating games because you can use it to impress girls, I guess. And just casual conversation, it can make you seem like you are a very knowledgeable guy. But generally, right, being curious just sparks creativity and learning. It can definitely broaden like your horizon and help you become better at problem solving, which is definitely one of the most important life skill. And it just keeps life exciting. Curiosity turns every day on ordinary situation into adventures or opportunity for discovery. And everyday situation becomes much more meaningful and more fun when you approach it with a mindset of wonders of discovery. I think a lot of us sort of lost that ability to be curious once we are no longer a kid. That really sucked because life is just full of wonders and adventures. And so just be curious. With it, you keep growing and discovering new things. And thank you for watching this video. Drop a like and subscribe. I will see you tomorrow.